Hi everyone, it's Miss Ashley. Today we're going to be talking about how to make a budget. And so this is one of those things that it seems like everyone has some trouble with. And that would be myself included, When I first moved on my own, it's like, well, now what do I do? So here are the top 5 things that you can do. And I was going to make my own list, and then I actually came across this one from NetCredit, which I will post as blog post when I'm finished. So that way you can reference it later on. And it's actually roughly what I would have suggested anyways, based off of my experiences. So when you're looking to develop a budget, thing number 1 is that you always have to write down what you are spending. Okay, so you have to look at not just what you have to spend this month, but what do you often have to spend each and every month. Okay, so for example, you're going to have to look at things like rent or mortgage if you're buying your house. You're going to have to look at things like insurance. Insurance is one of those things we often don't think about because, it's easy to overlook. So, but it's something that's useful, and that if you should be paying it or you'd feel more comfortable with paying it, then you need to factor that in. You also need to look at your groceries. You need to look at your utilities. When you're renting a place, is your water included? Is your gas included? Is your garbage included? That's right, you actually do have to pay for garbage. And same thing with recycling. And sometimes they're not from the same place if that's what you want to do. You also have to look at, okay, what else? What do I pay monthly? For me, sometimes that looks like a car payment. You might have to figure in a car payment. You might have to figure in an insurance. So, and I get that what I'm saying right now may be a little bit overstimulating because it's a lot to take in. That's why I make a list, okay? And you can feel free to use technology to help you with this. I use my phone, and every month, because I have trouble with remembering things, I have a list, and it's one of those that you tap on the list and it checks it off. So you can write it by hand if that works for you, but for me, checking the box and unchecking the box is enough to make sure that I've paid that bill. But really take some time and think about this. Go in with a clear head and really think about what you have to pay for on a monthly basis. Think about how much you are spending on groceries, and really I want to instruct you to, or invite you to, I guess, overestimate those goals. Hey, kitties, calm down. Working from home, right? So, if you spend typically like $55 on groceries, up that. I would budget more towards like $70 or $75. Just because sometimes you have a little extra, okay? Or you don't always want to be spending, if you only have an $800 budget, you don't always want to be spending $799.50 and feel like you're about to overpay, or like you are this close to having your account get overdrawn, which will make more fees. So you want to be very realistic and really put some time and effort into thinking about that. Okay. Next, you want to think about your total incoming money. Okay? And on this one, if you are doing side jobs or doing things like waitressing, I would underestimate this budget, okay? Say you're waitressing and last night you had a really good night and you made $140. That's not your standard of tip, right? Or if you're doing side jobs, you may not always get 8 side jobs per month. You may get more, you may get less. So you want to budget under, so that way you're not using money that you don't actually have. Now, if you have a salary, this should be pretty easy, and same thing if it's a fixed income. If you pretty much only have 1 or 2 ways of having your money come into you, then don't worry too much. But I know that for a lot of folks out there, their income kind of fluctuates. maybe they work 3 hours one week, 2 hours another week, and then 25 the next week because their work is kind of, it's not consistent. So you may want to take an average and you may need to get some help with that. And really look at your numbers over a span of a couple months. Don't just be like, okay, well this month I had a good month and then I spent $50 and I got to save $30. Okay. If that's not how it is for you normally, you're going to want to look at it over a span of time, because when you're moving out, you are looking at your budget for almost like a year. For most people, they're planning on moving to stay in a place for about a year. Okay, next you want to subtract, take your amount that you earn and how much you're spending. So you're taking the amount that you have and that you're getting in income, and you're subtracting your expenses. You want to look at your expenses and really see if you can cut any of that down. A lot of times for some people that's as cheap as getting rid of cable, gotta love TV, but if you can get it through a streaming site like Netflix or something, or if you don't really watch TV, well, sometimes people just pay for TV because they've always paid for TV. Really look at your finances and see, how often do I use this? Oh, I'm using Spotify, but I hardly am ever listening to music. Okay, well, two things got to happen there. Are you either going to listen to more music to justify your cost, or do you want to say, I can get rid of that $10 or $15 cost and get rid of it for now? You really want to look at that. The next part is crucial. So we're now at step number 5. So I'm just going to recap real quick. Develop your monthly expenses list. Step 2, how much money is coming in? Step 3, what's your amount? You take your income subtracted by the amount of money that you spend. Are you overspending? Are you relying on other people's help? Are you getting very close to overdrawing your accounts? See what makes sense. Step 4, cut out the things that you don't use. If you have subscription boxes, this is a great time. You can spend a lot of money on subscriptions that you're not using. If you only use Amazon here or there, not very much, why are you paying for Prime? Why are you paying for it on a month-to-month basis? If the benefit does not serve you, then don't use that. And then lastly, you're going to want to develop a strategy for where you're going to save whatever is left over. This is really important, just because you always want to make sure that you are saving money. There could always be an emergency, and it would be easy to rely on credit cards, but that's the if. Do you have credit cards? You don't want to be applying for credit cards when you're stuck on the side of the highway. That's too late, Have a set amount that you can save. Use that for emergencies or for dreams. Another really good way to do that is that for people who have had a disability that they've gotten before the time that they've turned 25, an ABLE account is a really great way to save money. You can gain a little bit of interest, and if you'd like some help with that, let me know. Just because it's a great way for you to be able to budget your money, use it on things that you absolutely need, and also get a little bit of interest. It's going to be more so than a bank account, but that's for another whole series. So that's your little tip on money. I will put this article in the comments, but I hope you enjoyed it, and please let me know if you have any questions, because I know this stuff is not easy. All right? Thank you so much, and have a good rest of your day.